Good morning, Mom.
First one in, last one out. Mama Brooks in the house. Well, technically, the Penguin AC was the first one to chime in, but we don't necessarily know if that means that Mama Brooks wasn't physically here. All right, we got a couple of things going on, and I can't start the show without talking about something because it will be a major distraction for me unless I get it off the chest.
Okay. And this is breaking news, I understand, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I mean, you got all excited just before
Right.
the show started, and I'm kind of like, I'm waiting with bated breath here to find out what's going on because I think this is pretty important for the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
So here's what I would say as far as Twitter is concerned. As we were talking about that ridiculously bad Eminem song, guess who's back? Back again, right?
Oh, no, wait. You're not verified, are you? You got verified.
They created a monster. Nobody.
Oh, no way.
Yes, the check is in.
Wow.
The
How about
check
me?
is in.
How about me getting that? Yeah, there it is. The blue check mark. Oh, man.
Guess who's back?
Oh,
Back
I'll
again.
just be daggone.
jeez.
Guess who's back?
Now I know I'm not getting verified.
Nope.
I'll tell you what. If you and Jake Asman are verified, I don't want to be verified. Unbelievable.
I hate to do it to Twitter now.
They created
Wow.
a monster.
Wow.
Nobody wants to. Mhm.
Wow. Jack must have gotten a bad batch over the weekend.
I have been destroying this place for the
I know.
past year and
I
a
know.
half. That's just proof. This is all a computer.
Yeah.
That's just proof. This is not a human. Any human being would just take 2 seconds to look at my timeline and say, "We don't
Wow.
want that guy."
I'm going to report you now. I'm going to have to report you.
I love it. I love it. No,
Love it, man.
That's a close second. I'll give you that. It is a close second. I will be happier when my child is born, which is going to be 12 days from now, mind you. But I am thrilled. And now here's the thing. Now, and look, this is the only reason why I'm thrilled is because people will now see my tweets.
Right.
It's because I can promote the middle.
Wow.
Because now SD says it'll be gone within 12 hours. Why do you say that? I don't do anything. I don't tweet anything controversial, anything along those lines. I'm just trying to prop up the show. And
Right.
I'm buried. Oh, man.
Congratulations, bro. Congratulations.
I got to thank Philly Voice and Matt Mullen because that's the way in which I did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then I guess I got to knock on his door.
Well, you have to write a column and you have to have, here's what you do.
I'm not writing a column.
Well, that's how you get verified. That's what I did. That's how I got verified.
I do radio shows and podcasts. What do I need to write a freaking column for?
Because that's how I'm telling you, if you want the check, the easiest way to get verified, unless you played in the NFL and have a Super Bowl ring, the easiest way, Harry, for you to get verified is just I'll connect you and Hal or whoever it may be, a Philly Voice through JAKIB Media, right? We have a connection.
I don't want to write anything. What do I want to write?
Look, write 3 columns. That's it. Just write 3 weeks of columns, 1 column a week.
I don't have that much to say.
All right, well then look, then you're not going to get
You always got something to say.
You're not going to get it then. That's it.
And I guess I'm not getting it.
No, you're not getting it.
I'm not getting it. I just retweeted you on your verified tweet, and I gave the snorting emoji.
Oh man, I love it. You know what I can do now, Harry, that you can't do, and I feel really bad for Harry Mays. I really
Why?
do. Because you deserve to be verified over me. You've got more
couldn't care
followers.
less.
You've got a bit.
Nah.
I know you could.
I'm losing followers by the second. Pretty soon you're going to pass me.
I don't think so.
I'm not kidding you.
I've lost.
I don't know what the hell I did.
Now, yeah, look, I'm just telling you, Barrett is just sitting back saying, hey, you guys, you know who Barrett is? Barrett is the seasoned flyer who's using his miles every time. And I'm the kid who somehow got snuck into first class.
Yep.
And is bouncing around the seat. It is pulling things down. And Barrett's just looking at it like, can you act like you've been here before?
Yeah.
I played with Barry Sanders. That man never spiked the football once.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Act like you've been here before.
No, you be the guy that gets in first class for the first time. Is free liquor?
Yeah.
Oh, free. Oh, just keep the party going.
Yeah.
You're that guy.
Yeah. You're like Elaine trying to sneak into first class to use the bathroom.
Yes.
And then she sits in the seat and covers herself up, acting like she's been there the whole time.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Now what I have to do officially here is tweet out the link because I was waiting for this. Once we got on the air, I could announce the news and all, and people could see it without diming me out here on the chat. But now what I can do is from the verified account, continue to push. And hopefully, like Barrett already had the verified account.
And I have no followers.
No, it's not even about that. It's about what people will see on there. You beating the algorithm, all right? This is a victory for the show today, more so than anything else. All right? That's what this is. Victory for the show.
Wow.
Hey, Sarah.
It's a big day. This is a big day in the middle. I'm telling you.
Now, the middle, of course, we're broadcasting live from the Fritz and Bean Cooley Law Studio. If you know someone who suffered a personal injury, contact Brian Fritz directly, a tough lawyer for a tough town. And we are sponsored here by Pure Bull Beef Jerky. Get yours now. Go to steersnacks.com.
Man, today is a very eventful day, man.
Starts now.
Tom's Run Golf Course. Never heard of it, Penguin.
Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit.
Come on, let's get these links out here on social.
I just retweeted the middle.
Here's
talking about
Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays.
We got a busy day today. Now, we have a lot of things happening, all right? And it's not just the blue check that's associated next to my name. I refuse to let this derail the program here. As we're joined by Sports Map Radio live across everywhere. You can find us on the JAKIB Media YouTube page. We ask only one thing, really, a like, a subscription, and if you choose, share it across, whether you're verified or not, share it across social media platforms. That's going to help a lot. Gentlemen, we're back. We have a pretty big Sixers game tonight, and more of this Fletcher Cox story starting to spill out.
Yes.
Including Barrett Brooks. What has come out where we saw this with Carson Wentz extensively on offense. Now on defense, the general manager at the very least leaning on Fletcher Cox about personnel decisions. Dare I say they created a diva.
Wow.
Oh, that's been the case, though.
The
case. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Well, I mean, explain. I mean, what other ways has this manifested itself?
He has always been that guy on this team. He's always been the number one guy on the team. Even when Carson was so-called the number one guy, Fletcher Cox is the number one guy on the team.
But I mean, usually a diva does things to to bring more attention to themselves. They're all about, sort of being the focus of everything. I never kind of got that from him. I always thought he was sort of just like a country boy, like to go hunting and play football and
not necessarily diva tendencies, because you got to be like a receiver or something to have those tendencies. But I'm
they
talking
tend
about
to have
being
it more.
the guy. Yeah. I'm talking about being the guy. When I think of diva, I'm thinking of somebody who thinks they're the guy who and that's what Fletch is. Mm-hmm. He is that guy. When he walks around, everybody looks at him. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like he's like the defensive McNabb. You know how McNabb was.
Is he a jokester?
Yes.
Okay. But McNabb was always kind of a jokester, but it was a corny kind of jokester.
Like he was awkward. He was
awkward. Yes.
He's an awkward diva.
Right.
Well, not really a diva, but he's an awkward star.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what Fletch is. Fletch could care less about, mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you get him and you go out there and field and stream.
We're back.
He would love that.
Right.
Well, that's the thing, man. And here's the biggest thing that comes out of this story is it's the same scenario that we saw play out with Carson Wentz. It's another scenario that we see with anybody, including McNabb. If you go back to when he was traded to Washington and all of the stuff came out about how he was lazy, he wasn't showing up and caring. He'd go for an off season. It looked like he hadn't thrown a football. All of these things that would feed into the narrative that a lot of people already believed in. But look what just happened. Look exactly what just happened with Carson. Carson Wentz was brought into this organization. Carson Wentz was heralded as a superstar and given power upon power to do whatever he wanted. It was unchecked by the same people who gave him that power. Then he was given influence and personnel and other stuff. And then ultimately, when the time came for him to go, he was dragged through the mud, right? Oh, he was a bad teammate. All of these stories that came out. The same thing is happening with Fletcher Cox right now. Right?
You said stories that came out. Those stories were told throughout, his whole tenure here. You know, he never has been the so-called best teammate in the world. So
not best teammate, but I'm saying as far as his own issues.
now he had diva tendencies.
Well, no, but I'm saying that's exactly it. Like both Cox, it's the same thing. Both Cox and Wentz were grown as divas. Those divas were grown and enabled. I'm not faulting either one of them. They were given the reins to do whatever the hell they wanted. The problem is that it's gone unchecked by the same people who created the Frankenstein monster, and now they're trying to slander the Frankenstein again as he goes out, like they did with Wentz, that Frankenstein.
I don't think that he necessarily he's been given the reins, but he's not one to take the reins. See, Fletch never wanted the reins. Fletch is just happy with being a guy that goes out hunting or racing cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wants to stay out of the way more so than anything. You know, even when he goes out, usually guys will try to use their fame. Fletch isn't that guy. He could care less what people think about him. You know what I mean? In fact, he has more Harry tendencies than anything.
He goes and gets his gun product from DVSC.
Right, exactly.
I'm responding to the article here, which is specifically stating that Fletcher Cox is leaned upon as much as anybody, if not more, in the organization, like Carson Wentz was. So I'm not saying that, and look, I even said it, I'm not painting Fletcher Cox as anything but a football player showing up. But if the general manager keeps going to you and says, hey, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about this guy? We need help here. You're going to answer. And at some point, you're going to feel like, all right, now I'm part of this so long as he comes. That was my whole point of it, Barrett. I'm blaming this more on the team than on Cox.
Giving him power.
They're empowering him.
Yes, they're empowering him. Then they don't want him to have the power. That's kind of messed up. But
same thing just happened with Wentz.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Are we? Yeah.
Now, what did you make of Fletcher's tweet?
Oh,
is that some cryptic shot?
Yes.
At Jeff McClain, or is it a shot at the organization, or both?
I think it's the organization, not necessarily McClain. Because where's McClain getting it from? I'm thinking he's thinking, well, where's McClain getting this information from?
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
But look,
exclamation points, clowns.
But look, that's the thing, right?
Like it's plural.
I don't believe that.
If it was just clown, it would just be
McClain. One clown. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is if you look at something along the lines of where stuff like this comes out from, right? It's the team. And I'm not directly saying, oh, Howie Rose. But my point of it is that there are people in the organization that we just talked about. I mean, like, come on, gentlemen. We just went through this with Carson Wentz about how often they choose a scapegoat if it's a former coach or former player. And it's like, okay, Philadelphia, now we're good.
Right. This guy's out of the organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know
and they're preemptively trying to do that with Fletcher Cox.
I'm going to be honest. You guys have shown me the way as far as organizations and how they're doing things, because I never thought that I could really listen to mainstream media and really get what an organization is doing. You know, I always thought, it's like a chess game. You know, they would just, go in the direct. This team, they don't have a poker face. They just just let it out there and just give it to whoever's going to put it out there.
Well, Doug never had a poker face either, man. He was very candid and truthful with the media,
but
to his detriment.
Trouble, Harry.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Say that guy isn't going anywhere.
That's what I'm saying, to his detriment.
In Nashville.
Yeah.
Well, see, but that's the problem. See, I've been a part of organizations. Like, I have to always go back to the Steeler organization. They had problems, internal problems that went on all the time, but no media member would or they would release it. They wouldn't do it. It was almost too much respect to that organization to have somebody slander. Even the stuff that happened with Ben, with the motorcycle accident and stuff. There's countless things that happened inside that organization that kept secret. It's almost like the Steelers own the papers or whatever up there because they just wouldn't print it and they just wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this organization is just an open book. Like this is to the detriment of the team, period. Yep. I mean, it's not cool. It's not cool, actually, man. Why can't you keep your mouth shut? Why can't you have a poker face? Stop giving up
There
all
always-
the tape.
Right. There always seems to be somebody talking.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Doesn't stop. You know,
the girl from ESPN and
Yeah.
I mean, how does an organization do you allow stuff like that to happen?
No, but and the fan base always points the finger at the media, like Jeff McClain is the problem. He's just doing his job. Like these folks, whoever he's getting this information from, wherever Joe Santoliquito was getting his information from, they don't have to talk.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
No, and here's the thing, Harry, real quick, to the point you just made about people feeding information, to combine that with the point that Barrett made about Carson Wentz. The one thing that was consistent in all of this was just people inside were questioning how good of a leader he was or teammate he was, regardless of the other stuff, work ethic, all that other stuff. It was the teammate thing. We haven't heard that about Fletcher Cox.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think we should completely paint this organization off as idiotic. They know exactly where the narrative is that the fans can point to and say, oh, yeah, I heard Cataldi call him lazy, 2 years ago when he didn't have a sack in a football game. Or, I heard some, Shander or Mays on the middle and Brooks on television, or Seth Joyner called him lazy or said that he needs to improve. Right. So that's what I mean. It's just like bootstrapping a narrative. It doesn't mean that Fletcher Cox is lazy. It just means that there's a narrative out there that people will believe he's lazy.
If you just keep saying it.
Yes. Yes. Come on. How often are we going to fall for this crap?
Yeah.
We always falling for the banana tailpipe, man. Well, you know what? That's not us falling for it. It's the information given by the organization. They want us to say this. They're dictating the narrative.
Well, they
we're just
want
following
us to
just like
Cox
sheep.
Lazy.
Huh?
They want us to call Cox lazy. They want
exactly.
They want to take it. Yes,
dude. You're not a Pro Bowl player and being lazy. Now you can do more, and that's what Seth is saying.
Yeah,
you can do more. You could be a better player if you did this, and that.
That's why I said what I was saying yesterday about I just have this sort of underwhelming, overall opinion of him during his career.
There you go.
Because you see the flashes. You see, he'll do it for a couple of games or he'll do it within a couple of games, but he's being paid like a guy that should be doing it a hell of a lot more consistently.
You know what? In fact, let me text him now. I'm gonna see if I can get him on.
Uh-oh.
No.
Who's this?
Seth?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking here at the stream. Adam's Exploits has a very glass half full post up here. This is next level. He's talking about Julio Jones to the Titans. He hopes that gets the Titans 2 more wins over the Colts, which improves the Eagles draft pick. Now, how about that?
Wow, that's next level there.
That's deep.
I mean, we talked about that yesterday, right? As far like there's a lot of uncertainty around Carson Wentz in its own right, as far as his surroundings and his ability to play better, on top of adding Julio Jones to that offense. I mean, the Titans were already kind of locked in with the Colts over the last year or two. I would think this separates them. Are they not the best team in the division?
Who?
The Titans.
No.
You still think it's the Colts?
I think the Colts.
I think the Colts are still the best.
Yeah,
team.
I think the Colts have a better defense.
Yeah.
And I don't know that
defense got better. You heard Brooks yesterday tell you they got Bud Dupree.
Yeah, they got better.
That's true.
But also, Indy also got better. They went out and got some players also.
Their quarterback is going to ruin the season for you. Are you prepared for that?
You think Wentz is going to ruin it?
Well, I just think he's going to ruin the hopes of you thinking the Colts are going to be a better team. That's all.
Wow.
That's all. Now, otherwise, I think this whole thing just reeks more like, what is this, incentive? I mean, what else could this possibly be? Let's just take a second here. What else could this possibly be? That Howie Roseman, who in this story is also reportedly checking in with Cox, and you've got the general manager leaning on Cox about whether or not they should take a guy or his thoughts on anybody as far as personnel. Yet this stuff comes out about Cox in its own right. I mean, think about it. Think about how weird that is, right? Think about how difficult that is from a logical standpoint. The same front office that has a guy who's running the team in this same report is going to Fletcher Cox and asking him his thoughts on personnel, also feels that he's so incredibly lazy they had to out this publicly in order to what? Light a fire under his ass? It doesn't make any sense.
Seems crazy. It's being
you don't need to do that.
It's being worded as an internal concern about Fletcher Cox. That's pretty broad, isn't it?
And you but you don't do that though. As an organization, you don't do that, especially to your star player. You know, a player that you rely on to help you make decisions. You're gonna put out there that he's not preparing hard enough. Or I'd be pissed off if I was Fletcher. Fletcher right now is hot.
Not maximizing his ability.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No. So what? You've tried to reach him over the last year and a half. Remember, they brought in the defensive line coach that was eventually fired. And that's in the article as well, that Cox had something to do with that, calling him out after a game, or maybe it was at the half of a game.
Yeah, it was Philip Daniels. Yeah.
Philip Daniels, right.
Yeah.
And I mean, think about it. Like, this is a guy who, and we've seen this just with Carson Wentz. How many guys, how much turnover was there with Carson Wentz and the coaching staff around him? From quarterback coach to wide receiver coach to offensive coordinator to them not even having an offense.
Well, a lot of that was due to winning, though. The turnover in the coaching. I mean, it started with winning a Super Bowl. I mean, everybody gets plucked off teams that win Super Bowls.
Well, at the same time, though, remember, there was also with Carson Wentz continued success. It's not like he had a terrible year the year after he was playing through injury, but even the year that he bounced back following that, there was still more leaning on him about, you know, Press Taylor and these other guys that were there. So you're right, where guys are going to get plucked when you win a Super Bowl. But my point of it is not that Carson Wentz had any issue or influence on that. It was the routine, carousel, or what's that, revolving door?
Revolving door, yeah.
Following because of, and look, Fletcher Cox won too. Fletcher Cox has been playing at a Pro Bowl, if not all pro level too. So it makes sense that he would get enabled like that. And it makes, remember that original report? Who was it? Was it Kemsky or McLean? Somebody had this report about Howie Roseman. And remember the two fat heads that he had in his office behind him and on his desk? Do you remember who they were?
Wentz.
And
I'll say Fletcher.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The two guys that he has been linked to, just leaning on or enabling.
The pillars of the franchise.
And look, my point in all of this, Barrett, you've played with guys who have been enabled, I'm sure, to the day's over. But if there's no reining in, and if there's no checking, and if there's no voice of authority who can come in and provide some sense of balance, then what you do is you wind up burning your relationship, and guys are either traded or cut. And in the case of the Eagles, which seems to be so unique to them, they feel the need to have to justify every single departure like they were in the right and the person who left is in the wrong.
You know, that's the problem right there. The problem is they don't want to be accountable for any decision that they make. They don't want to be accountable for any mistakes that they've, that have occurred, during this tenure. I mean, come on now. You got to wear your big boy pants. If you make a mistake, okay, own it. They wanted, to put the narrative out there that they're trying to do this, but this is happening, so it's not our fault. Man, I don't care if it's your fault or not. Let's just get something done. If you don't want Fletcher there, be a man about it and say, all right, we want to trade you, Fletcher. We want to get you out of here. Don't just go out there and just be setting out. That's childish. Yeah, that's childish, man. That's that social media type of stuff. And you don't do stuff like that, man. Be a man about it. You know what I'm saying? Put your britches on and hey, man, this is what I need you to do. I mean, Fletcher's the type of person you can go up and talk to him like that. You tell Fletch. Now, you may not want to hear his response, but at least he'll be 100 with you and let you know what's going on. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. And they want to handle with people with kid gloves and throw out little jabs and stuff. Man, bump
passive
all that,
aggressive type.
Yeah, man. Come on, man.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah, Fletch is a grown man. You tell him, hey, Fletch, man, we need more out of you. Let me get a little more from your conditioning. Let me do this. And he'll respond in two ways. Either he'll say, all right, go blank yourself, or he'll say, all right, then I'll do what I can.
Right, but you don't have to let it leak out through the media,
Yes.
so the fan base then sees it.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't air your dirty laundry out to
Stays
everybody
inside.
to see.
Yeah.
Keep it inside, yeah. And that's the type of locker room you should have. You know what I'm saying? Self-check. Locker room should self-check. You know, we all we got. That's the notion that they should have in that locker room. I've never been on a team that this, you know, what do you call it? Oh my goodness. Not you know, it's almost like chic. You know what I mean? Like,
Not
you know,
Sheik Luch from the Locks. Right? Harry's like, what?
Who?
the line.
Sheik Luch
Yes.
from the
yes.
Locks. Yeah, Jada Kiss, Styles P, Sheik Luch. Come on, Harry.
Sheik Loose. I'm not aware of him.
Oh yeah, it's too bad we can't play music.
Not
on
the
this.
Iron Sheik.
No. Although I go
That's the
Sheik Luch.
Sheik I know.
Yeah, I get it. He's number 2 on the Mount Rushmore, the Iron.
No
Sheik.
question.
Oh, he's an
Absolutely.
incredible Sheik.
All right, we got to take a quick one here. Maybe this is a good time to regroup after that. Jeez.
Right.
It's a lot happening here on a verified middle. Now we got to get Harry in here, man. We got to get Harry in the club. Here's the thing. Hey, he's not going to want it now. All right, I've ruined it for him. He's like,
there's no question.
Shander got it. Like, screw that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I'm out on that club.
It's
You can
everything.
keep that boys
It's like-
club.
He's ruined Huntington Valley for me. Now it's ruined Twitter. It's unbelievable.
It's amazing. I have to change my background now because I can't have the crying baby in the background anymore since I'm verified. Gee whiz. You know?
Yeah, you should just have a big blue check mark behind it.
Right.
No,
Seriously.
I'm not here to celebrate my own personal victory.
No.
This is
Yes,
a
you
show
are.
victory.
Yes,
okay?
you are,
This is
man.
a
Yes, you
show.
He's going to be on Fox tomorrow morning at 5:45 a.m. telling Jarek and everybody.
Well, I am going to be on Fox tomorrow at 5:45 a.m., but that was pre-booked before the verification.
Right, you talk Sixers, but you'll just move
They
that to
actually
the
said your
side and
name.
talk about your
Yeah.
check mark.
They
Absolutely.
said his name today
On what?
on 29, Fox 29.
I was on 7:45. What do you
That's what I'm
mean?
saying. Yeah, no, they after that they
Yeah,
talked about
because
you.
I made a bet. I'll tell you all about the bet coming up in the break,
All right.
in the middle. Yeah, so I told them this morning that I was 99.99% confident the Sixers are going to win and cover the spread. Now, they responded and said, all right, well, you think they're going to win. So I placed a bet live on the air, and I pushed it up there for the camera to see. And then they said, all right, well, why don't you do something? And then Mike made a joke and said, hey, if the Sixers lose tonight, why don't you shave your head? So I responded, say, look, if they lose, yeah, it was Jarek being like Jarek, just making a joke about it. He knew I had no hair on.
Right. Well, it's up to 6.5 now.
Yeah, 6.5. I saw it.
Yeah.
So I responded and said, now this is just a money line play. This is not the line. I responded and said, all right, well, I'll shave my beard. And then Alex jumps in and says, whoa, why don't you do something wacky with the beard and you have to have it on for a full day and then come back the next day and still prove to the audience that you have it on. So that's when I responded and asked, well, what suggestions do you have? Do you want to do mutton chops? Do you want to do something like that? I think what they decided on is I shave everything, but I leave the left half of my mustache and the right half of my beard.
Oh, that's great.
And I have to walk around. Now, look, I have 2 Awesemo shows tomorrow in between the Fox 29 of having the beard shaved live. And then the following day of that, I have you guys here. I have another stream show.
You don't have to worry about it, bro. You don't have to worry about it. They're not going to lose, man.
I wasn't worried at first until we got Tony Brothers in the house. Tony Brothers in the house is a problem for me.
Who's Tony Brothers?
He is a referee that is known. You know, who is that jackass in the NFL?
Anti-Embiid, that guy?
He's anti-Simmons more than anybody
Simmons.
else.
Okay.
He's going to make it really hard to play defense on guys like Trae Young. Now, the player's going to make it tough to play defense on guys like Harris as well. But the Sixers don't really have a young type. You know, they've got Simmons, but they don't really have a guy like Simmons who can shoot like Young. So that's my biggest concern. I think Embiid and Capella are going to be fine. I'm really concerned. This is what I'm saying, Harry. This is a backdoor cover waiting to happen with Tony Brothers.
So a little hand checking on the perimeter is going to be called pretty tightly.
Early.
Yeah.
You're going to see somebody on one team.
Get 2 quickies.
Yes.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yes.
Especially if it's Ben.
Right.
Well, that's what the biggest concern is.
Yeah. or even a Thibault.
Close the door.
Yeah.
You know,
I would personally like. Here's the thing. What's the argument against sitting Green for Thibault? Danny Green coming out playing with the second unit. You know he's going to be getting some opportunities there. He didn't take a shot in the first half.
And that's what happened when you play defense. When you're really trying to play defense, it takes away from you your offense game plan.
I'd rather lose Danny Green on offense for the first half and throw multiple waves of Thibault and Simmons at Trae Young in the first half.
Get him off his, perch, man.
Yeah.
Watch out for this Bogdanovich, man.
Uh-oh. There's something here. My God.
Who's ringing the bell? Peter Chris asked.
7 right now. 40-30, game 15 of the third set. She just won 8-7.
Tennis.
Anastasia. Anna, you have no idea what it's like to you've never been sweating out the French Open at Roland Garros.
Jeez. Is he verified?
Anastasia?
Is Russo verified?
I think so.
Yeah.
Do we need to check?
I think JAKIB Media needs to put forth the full court press to get me verified.
I agree. Yes, Mad Dog Russo is verified.
That is their sole job. They should do that. That should be their sole intent is to get Harry verified.
Here's the thing about Harry.
And Jody Mack.
Yes.
He's not verified. That's an outrage.
And I get it. Like my place on the totem pole, you two should be verified above me. But here's the thing about it, though, Barrett, and I'll definitely, and this is why I said for Harry, not just joking about, I feel sorry, like legit, is because he gets the most interaction by a mile. Like Harry can put out something, and between the two of us, he's just, because he's like got this Flyers faithful of like 20,000 on Twitter that no matter what he says, they're going to flock to him. Right? They're going to show up no matter how good the tweet is or how bad the tweet is.
They're going to favorite it. They'll retweet it. They'll react to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Even my golf tweets get some action. Speaking of, you see these white pants, Barrett?
Yeah. Can we get a shot of that?
Yo!
Harry, here's what you need to do. Go to, I guess you can't. Is there anything you can step on? Because your name at the bottom of the screen took up a lot of the white on your pants. Yeah. No,
I don't want to stand on the chair because it's got wheels on it. No. Don't and then I'll break a bone.
No. Do not.
That's my grandson. Yeah.
Oh, yo, what's up?
What's up?
He can't hear you, but he's well, Pop, why are you on TV all the time? You working too much.
What's his name?
This is RJ. Say hello,
RJ. What's up, RJ?
They're saying what's up. Say
are you verified on Twitter, RJ? We got to get RJ on Twitter.
Right, he's verified. All right, so now you've been on TV now. Now go play.
That's fantastic. We need more RJ. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bro, he is. He's 5. He is. I have never had so much fun, man.
That's fantastic.
Except for when my kids were his age. I am having a ball with them.
Well, what is that? Is it there? Because you hear this all the time, right? Like there is this sense of removal from being a parent to a grandparent.
Yes. Like I don't have to raise him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Like eventually he's going to go back to his other house.
Can give him back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can give him back. But now we are having the time. Man.
This isn't a lease, Barrett. All right, this isn't an exclusive.
We've been going. I mean, I took him up with me to the boat. He helped me. Berserker Swords, not RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. RJ,
right. RJ and good. Barrett. Yeah.
But we took him to the boat, man, and he's helped me with the boat. He's cleaning the boat out with me. He's not really helping, but yeah, just him being there and trying to do something was all I needed, bro. I mean, it made time just fly by. Every 5 seconds, he wants to be in the pool. I'm surprised his skin should be wrinkled up by now.
Right. I was basically a landscaper by the age of 6 with my dad. So I'm doing the lawn. I'm cutting hedges. I'm sweeping gutters. I mean, it was unbelievable.
And this kid, he been Pop. This is not fun. I had mulch dropped out in the front. Mm-hmm. So he helped me for a good 15, 20 minutes. After 15, 20 minutes, he was like, Pop. my legs and arms are tired. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I want to go in. I want to go in the house, Pop. You're not going to help me? Okay, Pop. So he said, I'll just sit down right here and watch you do it.
Got to get that kid in the weight room, man.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna try and track down Matt Chernoff in Atlanta. So we'll see if he can come. He's on vacation, so I don't want to push it.
Okay.
by any means. Harry, are you leaving now? Like, are you going to be back or?
Yeah, I'll check back in on my phone from the golf course before we head out.
Okay.
What time would you like me to do that?
Whenever you want. I'd say, basically Rob Motti is going to be with us at 12:40. We're going to go back into the whole thing with Fletcher Cox and get his thoughts and have Barrett kind of push the story as well. When
does the last segment start?
Meaning like
the last segment of the.
Want to come back for overtime?
No, because we're going to be already on the golf course by then. Like, when's the last segment start? Like 12:45 to 12:55 or something?
No, the last segment's like 2 minutes.
No, not
for fake news. That's 12:25.
25?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll work around it and do that.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right, let's do that.
That's beautiful.
All right.
Now, why don't you wait until let's make it a natural break here, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Commercial, you can leave, so you don't
Right.
just disappear like Chris Paul in that State Farm commercial.
Turn into a basketball.
Hey, he didn't disappear last night, man.
Oh
No.
man, he was
He had
tough.
himself a game. That the Suns team in his second half, man.
It was a good game
Tough.
at first, but then it
Yeah.
just, I mean, look, we really have to talk. If we're going to talk about last night, we really have to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, people are going to take shots all they want about
Dominance.
Milwaukee. That's fine. Milwaukee's a good basketball team, although I don't think, is Chris Middleton alive?
I know.
Well, he was
Yes.
for a little bit yesterday.
He hit a
played
couple
well.
threes last
Yeah.
night.
He was
When?
competitive.
When they were down 20?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
It's not him. It's his boy.
Who?
Yes, he's got to come, man. He's got to come better than what he came these past 2 times,
They
man.
didn't have anybody else out there doing anything.
yeah. That Brooklyn team can make you look like that, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what
All
I'm
right,
afraid of.
We'll see you, buddy.
All right, dude.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
In the Wildwoods, our free beaches are spacious and welcoming with plenty of room to spread out. Your seat will be waiting for you when you're ready to visit. The Wildwoods, creating cherished family memories for generations.
Attention women of South Jersey and the Delaware Valley. Sign up right now with Our Lady NRA instructor Nayara Andrzak, who will teach you gun safety as part of this 3-hour safety class, which is being held at Delaware Valley Sports Center in Philadelphia. For information, drop an email to info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. That's info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. Learn the fundamentals at Delaware Valley Sports Center. You can't miss.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out JAKIB Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the JAKIB Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following today and stand out amongst your friends by downloading the JAKIB Sports app on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Book It.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
Whoops.
You're listening. This is The Middle on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right, Barrett, we're going to be joined by Matt Chernoff coming up in a couple of seconds here. Once I just get him the link, wanted to make sure he's on vacation. So you're the only person that I don't feel guilty asking. Harry, I don't feel either, but I just know he's not going to do anything. Like, I know I can be nice, be diplomatic. Hey, can you come on with us, please? You're away for a little bit. Like, all of that. But
yeah.
In the case of you, I know at the very least that even if we're like, yo, come on or just come on whenever, you'll come on.
No question, man.
I don't want to get comfortable doing that. Like, you'll do that to Gunner. You have no problem. Gunner could be in Maui. Gunner could be in Hawaii, and you'll hit him up. You're like, hey, man, we need you on here for this Fletcher Cox story. Barrett, I'm in Hawaii. No, man, we need you on. And come on. Like, you would have no shame asking Gunner that.
No question.
Right.
I just got off the phone with him. He actually just got home. He was he's been traveling for the past 3 weeks. And he said, man, I'm still in the bed right now, bro. I would, man, but I can't get up right now. I said, well, we were just talking about Fletch, and when you told me, hey, Fletch, you need to stop hunting and get to running. And I was talking about how I said, he said, man, I told you that from the beginning. He said 2 years ago, me and you were sitting back and we were talking about Fletcher and comparing to Aaron Donald. He said, there is no comparison. I'm like, wow, just like that. He's like, no, there is no comparison.
How much of that, though, is Aaron Donald? Like, and I'm not comparing that margin of victory and all last night, but the Milwaukee Bucks are a top 3 team in the East, but they're not Brooklyn. And Fletcher Cox is a top D lineman in the NFC, interior D lineman, especially in the NFC. He's just not Aaron Donald, right?
And it's a difference, man. It's a difference in his makeup. It's a difference in his genotype, bro. He wants to be not the best player. He wants to be great. He's not thinking of being the best player in the NFL. And that's the difference in mindset with him and most people. That's the difference in people that said, they're so successful. They don't think average. Like, all right, most guys say, I just want to be the greatest player playing right now. I want to be the best player. I want to be the MVP. He's thinking, I want to be not just be the best defensive lineman, but I want to be the best player, period, ever to play. And he said, including my, the guy I wanted to pattern myself, Reggie White.
Right. All of that.
The great Reggie White. Yes. I want to be the greatest player to ever play. So he prepares himself in that capacity.
All right. It's a hell of a time to take a vacation when you're doing afternoon drive in the city of Atlanta, where your baseball team is on the road embarking on a pretty big series, and your basketball team has opened up and shocked the world when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers and the Atlanta Hawks. And that, as you can see, is Matt Chernoff enjoying his vacation somewhere on the planet, looking much more comfortable than the two of us. At Real Matt Atlanta is how you follow Matt on Twitter. He is the host of Chuck and Chernoff 3 to 7 on 680 The Fan, Atlanta's #1 sports talk show across the board. Yeah. Matt, how you doing, brother? I think. Are you frozen? Oh, that's set up.
Good, guys. Yeah, this timing. Right. See, when you put the vacation request in about 3 months ago, you don't account for a surprising second round run by the playoff team winning the #1 seed. So yeah, this wasn't planned correctly.
Right.
Nice. All right, you're starting to catch up. The program is kind of working itself out here with your phone, so we got you, brother. Not to completely dime you out, but like, what hemisphere are you on right now?
I'm in. I'll tell you where. I'll give you my address if you want it. We're in Fripp Island in South Carolina. You want the address? It's 227. No, I'm just kidding. Just enjoying a little family time, and the beauty is I get to watch this stuff without having to pay that close attention.
Well, hey, that's the best thing right there, man. Well, you can pay attention right now because we're getting our butt kicked up here in Philadelphia, man. But that's a baseball and basketball. But just looking at everything that's happening, Atlanta's a hotbed. You got Julio being traded. You got You know, your team
Right.
up here just stole a game up here in Philly, and then the baseball team, you know, they're playing, you know, better than our Phillies right now. So it's a good time to be a sports analyst out there.
It is. The Julio thing, I mean, we all saw that coming. It's still a damper. It's still disappointing, but you know, he wanted out, so that was going to be a fait accompli. It was just a matter of what they were going to get back. So the Braves have been the one that is to this point have been a disappointment. They just have not been able to get right for the first 2 months, which has been weird for a lot of reasons. So that's been the surprise. The Julio thing, not a shock. The Hawks, the complete surprise.
Yeah, let's talk about Julio in a sec, because I think there's a lot there, especially for what happens down in Atlanta. But as far as what Trae Young did, as far as what the Hawks did, I'll ask this. What do you take more stock in watching this team night in and night out? Because for us in the Sixers, we can look at it a similar way, but we don't have the advantage of seeing the Hawks each and every night like you do. What do you take more stock in, Matt? How that game began, where Atlanta just came out and dominated multiple areas against Philadelphia, including coaching, or how that game ended, where it looked like Atlanta was lost deer in the headlights and nearly lost that basketball game?
I'll put it this way. I don't think either was very real. Like the fact that they shot well, combined with the fact that Philadelphia was a turnover machine, I don't think we expect those two things to continue at that pace. And at the end of the game, they panicked. They started to make, you know, mistakes. I think they thought the game was in the bar already, and you saw that kind of play out in the final minute. So the answer's somewhere in the middle. Here's what I'll say. It's funny to me that, and it's Atlanta, so it's not a basketball hotbed. Trae Young has been this for about 2.5 years. Like this notion that Trae has changed his game and he's a different guy. No, I think the rest of the world sort of watching him and paying attention to him now. He's played a little bit more role. And as you watch the game one, he did the same thing against the quarterback running an offense. He rarely makes a mistake. He'll still every once in a while take the 35-footer, which if you're looking for one angle of the game that's so down, he doesn't take as many of those. But he's the same guy, and this offense has gone like this now since Bogdanovich came back since about the beginning of March.
Bogey. It's your boy, Barrett. Bogey.
I know, man, but when you talk about, you know, Bogdanovich and all those guys, when you look at them, look at the compliment that they're starting to play like, man. I didn't see this. I didn't see this going into the playoffs. I definitely didn't see them being as good as they are. But his support and cast, man, have really stepped it up, man, and taken it to another level. When did you start seeing the progression as far as them? You know, I know when, you know, coach, you know, turn things around, but when did you start seeing those guys become complimenting to his game and now playing better with him because they know his game?
Well, there's a couple of things, actually. Well, so when McMillan took over, they were 14-20.
We just lost Matt. I was thinking that was going to happen just because it was somewhat tight. And then he finally locked in on that connection. It's fine. He'll jump back in there. You know, it's a good question, though, because there was kind of this lull, if you will, for the first start of the season where nobody really wanted to define themselves as that fourth or fifth best team.
Right.
Atlanta then made that decision to do that, right? Like they separated themselves from the Knicks. All right, here's Matt back on that. We figured that there would be a little bit of a touch and go there, so we appreciate you popping back in, man. We're patient.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, no, it was a couple of things. McMillan and Bogdanovich coming back made the biggest difference. But the way they built this team, and they were going through a rebuild for a couple of years, the way they built this team was to surround Trae with a bunch of shooters and a bunch of wings who could play defense. Once they figured that out, they were all healthy because this team has not been healthy all year. Things really started to flow offensively, which again goes back to about the beginning of March.
Great, Max. You look at, you know, Bogdanovich at this point, man. He is ruthless as far as sitting on the corner, and they spread them guys. They spread out so well, man, and you know, and they're sharpshooters, man. So I didn't see them. I thought they were the worst team in the playoffs. They've shown me a little something now.
He said that twice on 2 different shows.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that for a couple of reasons. And again, it's not y'all's fault. It's just nobody pays attention to the Hawks. Going into the playoffs, they had won 32 of 44 games. I mean, they had been red hot. It's just we know what's going to grab attention around the NBA. In the East, it was going to be the number 1 seeded Sixers and the Nets for their big three, maybe even Miami and Milwaukee. So I get that. And in the West, we know LeBron and Luka and all that. The team has played such good basketball now for about 3 months. Because they shoot it so well, because they have guys who can finish at the rim and because Trae has played at this level. Again, I just think people are kind of catching up to it now. It's not that they flipped a switch. It's been bet. They've been this team now since the first week in March.
Look, I think, Matt, when you look at this squad, and Matt's on Twitter at Real Matt Lanta, Matt Chernoff, of course, 680 The Fan. You look at this team, there are going to be guys that are going to be the obvious ones of discussion. Trae Young, first and foremost. We talked at length before game one, not knowing Embiid's health, about how dangerous Clint Capella can be with or without Embiid on the floor. Herter, Bogey, like there are guys there. But when you look at collectively what happened in game one, I was really surprised at how cohesive of a unit the bench was. And I wonder how consistent that can be throughout this series, because as you know all too well, man, that's how you close a gap or extend a lead in that second quarter and put a game really, really difficult out of reach.
No, I would agree. I would say this. It's very up and down. Like game one, they got contributions out of Lou Williams, who played well. Gallinari was okay. Didn't have to be great, but Herter's been the guy. Kevin Herter, for whatever reason, things got to click for him this season when he moved to second unit. So he's been that consistent guy off the bench for them. But it's a very up and down unit. It's game to game. They had a couple of games in New York. Gallinari couldn't shoot at all. Lou Williams struggled. Nate McMillan has this one little blind spot the way that Doc Rivers does too. He plays that full bench lineup at times, which in the playoffs, there's never a need to play a full bench lineup. You could always keep a starter or two kind of, in the mix. That way you stagger your lineups. He did it in game one, and it kind of worked out because Philly's bench was so much worse. But the Hawks bench is very up and down. It's game to game. Tonight they can come out. You could see them have, 15 awful minutes where when Trae's off the floor, that's when teams seem to put their runs on. You always keep track of the plus-minus minutes without Young. So when Trae's not there, that's something to watch. And in this game one, they actually performed pretty well.
You think this is? Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to sneak this in here. Just as far as that is for tonight, looking at it tonight, that the Sixers are going to adjust. Everybody on the planet knows that the Sixers are not going to ask Danny Green to slow down Trae Young. What are the Hawks going to do to counter that?
Well, I mean, if you're saying offensively, I think you wait to see the adjustment. Here's what I'll say about this. There's not really a great answer. Danny Green's not it. We all know that. But let's say we put Ben Simmons on Trae, which I don't necessarily think is a great idea. You saw that Trae's got an innate ability to draw fouls, whether they're legit fouls or not. People can argue till the end of time. The last thing the Sixers need is Ben Simmons in the first quarter picking up 2 fouls because he wants to show the world that he can overman a screen against Trae Young. There's not really a great answer to it. Trae's at a place right now where if they blitz him the way they do the way they did the other day in the fourth quarter at times, you're going to leave a jump shooter open. And then it just comes down to, is Kevin Herter making a jumper? Is Bogey hitting his shot? I don't even know if DeAndre Hunter is going to play. That's the other rub of game one. To win that game on the road without Hunter, I think, was quite a statement. So if he's back, that's another outlet to shoot when the double team comes. I don't think there's a great answer to it. You can bring in Tybal if you want, but we know he's not going to score. That was kind of an aberration in game one. So if they wanted to start Tybal, they could try that. I think both sides have issues defensively matching up. I just don't think there's a great answer for it.
All right, Barrett, hold on one sec. We're going to break on the network. Back in 3 on Sports Map Radio, still live on the JAKIB Media YouTube page. Go ahead, Brooks.
Well, has there been a game where you've seen Young just, I used to think that he was like an immature player, but I see he's matured a lot in his development as being not just the point guard, but just being a leader on the team. I used to think he was just like I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was just like a little brat. But this team is playing around. What if he doesn't come with his game? What if he has a night off? Do they have a supporting cast that could go out there and win a game for him?
A night off meaning he just doesn't shoot it well or he turns it over.
Yeah, doesn't shoot it well.
Yeah, they shoot it really poorly. It's going to be real tough for them to overcome that. He can shoot okay. See, the weird thing about Trae is, and like people who haven't watched him, his shooting is not his best attribute. His passing is, he's elite court vision. He's an unbelievable passer. For instance, tonight, if they do blitz him, which I expect to throw a lot of doubles at him, Trae could score 22, not shoot it right, but he'd have 16 assists. That's the other part of Trae's game. That, if he's not shooting well, as long as the turnovers don't pile up, and that's been a really fun thing to watch. The first 2 years of his career, they surrounded him with nothing. It was the middle of a rebuild, so Trae had high volume shooting. He still shot it at a pretty good percentage considering. and efficiency without, much around him. Now that he's got all these pieces around him, he shoots less, 3 less three-pointers a game. It's 3 less shot attempts a game. So while he scored 35 and that was great the other night, I think Trey would honestly tell you, if I can score 24 but dish out 3 or 4 or 5 more assists, the team is better that way.
Matt, and we appreciate it, man. We're going to let you go. We're going to sneak like 1.5 in real quick. What's the vibe down there? And technically, I know that it can be from Tybee Island through Savannah, wherever it may be, right? But what's the vibe down there? Is it go out and really win this game, or you know what? You stole game 1. You can come back at home tied with 1 and still have a good shot at winning this series.
Well, here's the funny thing. Getting into the playoffs for this team was the goal. That was the stated goal. So they already accomplished that 2 weeks ago. Then when they matched up with the Knicks, guys, I thought it was hysterical, the national media's obsession with New York, and you always overrate New York teams. The Hawks were so much better than the Knicks, it was laughable, but again, you weren't going to hear that nationally. The Sixers are the better team here. The Hawks already got a game. Like tonight, I'm fascinated. The Sixers come out and win by 20 tonight. Like that's a definite possibility. But I wonder if early in the game, if the Hawks play well, how much stress that puts on Philadelphia, where they start to realize they can't lose this game. Like the Sixers are still the better team. And if they win tonight, I still think they're the favorites in the series. The Hawks have been dominant at home, much like Philadelphia. Like I'll go on. I don't know if Philly's going to win in Atlanta. Like I feel that strongly about how good the Hawks have been at home, going about 2.5 months. So I think everything is tonight for Philadelphia. I think the series is tonight. I know you can say you just saw the Clippers come back from 0-2. I don't think Philadelphia does that. So I would pick Philly tonight. There's no way I would pick the Hawks in the game. But the Hawks go in completely losing free. They've already done what they need to do. So I think this is, like, if you want to get in the cliche, well, this is non-sized money. This is like a mansion-sized money.
Yeah. Matt,
you're absolutely right, man. They need to beat them by at least 20, man, or they will think that they could still be good in this series, man. They have to stop them or not.
We got to let this man go. All right.
But man, enjoy yourself, man. I appreciate it.
He's our first.
Thanks,
look,
guys.
you are our first topless guest in the history of the middle, Matt.
Nobody needs that. Nobody needs it.
You're in the history books, whether you like it or not. Real
if
quick,
this goes viral, I'm going to be disgusted with everything about me. I'm going to have to start a regimen tomorrow on an elliptical.
Can you lead us one way or the other? Should we be playing the money line with the Braves at plus 137 with our old pal Drew Smiley coming back to town, or should we parlay the Phillies at minus 162 with the Sixers money line tonight?
I would go that way, but I will tell you this. If you want to look at the run total number, Drew Smiley has been a home run machine. Like, he has given up, I think he's had 13 or 14 home runs in his first 6 starts. And in that little baby part, I think Drew's going to have tough time keeping the ball in the ballpark. So I would go that way, and I would look at a run total over.
I love it. Matt, enjoy your vacation. Thank you, brother.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
That's Matt Chernoff at
Good dude,
Real
man.
Matt Lana. Yeah, we got to get him back when he's like back at home in studio and can be on with us. Uh-oh. That's no good. Something happened over there. We're still connected too. All right.
It was like it's supposed to be like some type of deal where, I guess social media went down, Google went down, all these different things went down last night.
Oh yeah, I saw that the power outage
Mm-hmm.
as a result of a fake tweet.
Right.
Amazing. No, and here's the thing, man. Like, there's a lot right there. We did touch on Julio Jones too in the beginning of that, so I'm glad that you got that out. I think, as Matt explained, I mean, there is legit confidence in this team right now. And think about it, where we see this in any sport. It can be a football team in the first round on the road in a wild card game with a win. It could be a team like Atlanta who rolls through a squad like New York in New York. You've got this confidence, right? And I think and we're about to break, so I'll set you up here for the longer play here, Barrett. But there has to be something regarding the Sixers now having to still deal with that. Like, yes, we all agree the Sixers going to win. The Sixers going to win. But as we're back in 3, we'll explain more. I mean, right? I mean, they're even more confident right now. You know what I'm saying?
No question. And that's why I was saying that I think that they really need to go out and just totally dominate this team, so this team doesn't think that that they can hang around or they have a chance. They got to erase that chance from their minds, because right now they're on a high, and if you let that high keep going, they could win this series, man. But as long as the Sixers go out and handle their business and control the game, and they just almost overpower this Atlanta team, then I think it'll get smoother after that. But at this point, they have to make sure that it's like total domination, or else this Hawks team will be one of those teams that just sticks around. Next thing you know, my bet for a six-pack, I'll be giving it up instead of just winning in straight 4 games. And that's the problem, man. Just erase all doubt. Erase all doubt. Just like what they did with Washington. That last game, they erased all doubt on who was going to win the game. All doubt.
Crazy.
They gave up.
Yeah, you're right. No, I think the Sixers right now, to your point, have to come out and win this first quarter.
Yep.
Like, there's going to be doubt that will creep into you if you're down by 4. Even if you're just like tied, I think that there needs to be this convincing statement by the Sixers to come out here and prove to themselves, right, first and foremost, that the last game was a fluke. And I see you shaking, and now we're off the radio anyway, so I don't need to describe that. But look at that. How many times have you played on a team where you come off a bad loss? Maybe it's all summer. You had to rest on a bad loss. You mentioned that loss to Belichick, right? Like, how many times, maybe it's the regular season where it's like, damn, we won that game maybe, but I played like dog shit. And the first thing you do is you go out and you prove it to yourself so that you can prove it to everybody else.
No question. At least you got to go out there and say, hey, we are still the dominant team. We're still the better team. But the fact that, this team beat up on them like they did, they got to prove to themselves that, hey, man, we can't just think we're just going to go out here and win like this. We got to go out there and fight. And then when you look at what's going on up the turnpike, man, that Brooklyn team, man, that's just utterly and total domination. I mean, it doesn't even look like Giannis is on the court.
Right. And
so
now, what do you do? Because you mentioned Trae Young supporting Cass and all. You can't go to anybody else.
No.
By the time you look up, you're down 25 and you're asking where the hell everybody is.
Right.
Like, what happened to Chris Middleton? What happened to Drew Holiday? Well, they had points. They were there. It's just you needed more.
Yeah. And they don't have enough. I mean, not even to think if Harden was there.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you just said a statement that I wholeheartedly agree with. That is scary. The Milwaukee Bucks, the third best team in the East this year, definitively the third best team, meaning above everybody below them, doesn't have enough to keep up with Brooklyn, who doesn't have James Harden, the most prolific scorer we've seen in the last 25 to 30, maybe ever in the NBA. What?
I don't know. That's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous how they just control the game like that. And then, we were talking about supporting Cass. Come on, man. There's stars being born. Joe Harris just looks like a dude. He's out there just dropping bombs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He's just sitting in the corner, just chilling, waiting for them to go double team, KD or Irv, and he just kicks it out to him, and he's just dropping like it's nothing. That's a tough team, man. That's a tough team.
Yep. Kevin Durant playing like the best player on the planet right now. Remember when he was on, before everything went to Golden State, and there was this whole thing about, remember, it was LeBron versus KD, right? LeBron's best player in the league, but you still have to talk about KD, Well, some of it is because LeBron is out, also because he's not technically the best overall player. He's just the GOAT, and he's just not playing like GOAT LeBron. Still a really good player because he's that damn good. But Durant is like, what'd you guys forget? Did you guys forget? Barrett, I understand, like Harry and we've had this conversation, so I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but there are people that will concede he's the best player on the planet, but still not forgive him for what he did in Golden State. I look at it another way, not the other way, but just another way. I look at it like Golden State was a ridiculously good basketball team that was building a dynasty. They got Kevin Durant. Okay. Kevin Durant was the best player on that team. Like, think about that. How do you have Steph and Klay Thompson and you bring in somebody who's better than both?
Right. You're talking about Mr. 3-point. I mean, he never misses, but he's still the second best player on the team. The second best player on the team. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. Yeah. They want to get mad at him for it. Say what you want to say. Ring chaser, whatever you want to call it. No matter what team he's on, he will be the best player on the team. Period, point blank. We're talking about a 7-foot guy that shoots threes, can drive to the basket, can rebound, and he found a defensive game also. Man, that team is unbelievable right now. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Trying to figure out what we're going to do, man. We'll win this series, but against Brooklyn.
In partnership with JAKIB Media.
And you, my friend, are caught in a minute. Got to get through this one first, right?
Starts now. Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
Yeah, you know, the show's got a little different vibe right now with Harry gone. You notice that? Like the show, it's a verified portion of the program right now. You notice that? It's got a little different feel to it.
It's a little bit more legit.
It's a little verified. It's got that feel in it. That's all. Now, I did see a tweet earlier. I think it was a tweet or somebody on the stream. I'm not sure where it was. In fact, I do remember it being on Twitter. So let me go ahead and find it. Yes, Justin Mader, who is a big listener of ours on the Sports Map Radio Network, and hopefully watching us like, share, subscribe to the JAKIB Media YouTube page, where we broadcast live from the Fritz and Bean Cooley Law Studio. If you know someone who suffered a personal injury, contact Brian Fritz directly, a tough lawyer for a tough town, sponsored here in Philly by Pure Bull Beef Jerky. Get yours now. Go to steersnacks.com. So all of that being said, Mader has a pretty astute observation, Barrett Brooks. And this is the tweet. Looking forward to Ron Culver playing promos today of you going at Jake Asman, for being verified. Because remember, I was torching Jake for being verified before me, or just verified in general. So I'm going to have to eat a lot of my words today.
Oh, there's no question about that.
I might have to put mayo on the crow today, Barrett.
And you know, I mean, Harry was serious about that. He probably doesn't want to be verified now. You know, when in Rome, do what the Romans do? Nah, he doesn't. He's going to turn around. He don't want to be verified now. He'll be pissed for a long time. At this point, man, Harry, man, that's my guy, man. We can't do him like that. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying. Just
I'm sorry.
saying.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, Harry.
It's got a little different feel to it. Maybe Jake and others can verify that feeling. Matt Chernoff was verified, just joining us right now. See, so I don't know. That's all I'm saying. He did say, though, about Drew Smiley giving up a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
Are you going to watch this? You're not going to watch any baseball tonight. Don't insult my intelligence.
I'm out on that.
You're going to watch 2 basketball games, aren't you?
And that's it. Yeah.
I am in
2 basketball games.
The second game is got some interest in as well, but we do have some Doc Rivers. We're going to hear from Fake News, Rob Motti, Fletcher Cox, all happening on the middle. All right, this thing from Doc Rivers, man. You hear this about? So I mentioned that ref. Who is the ref in the NFL that we all hate? Tony something, right?
Yeah.
Or is it? I forget. I'm just thinking of Tony Brothers.
No, not him. Hold on.
And I got that stupid scene from Clockers in my head now with John Turturro and the old guy. We locked up the wrong brother. And then the old cop stands up and says, "That's it." You don't remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Clockers was a classic, man.
Yeah, it was. Surprised you like that.
What you surprised I like that? I pulled Cheek Luch earlier in the first hour. What are you talking about?
There it is.
I am a plethora of late 80s to full 90s references. When did Clockers come out? 95.
I thought it was 96.
Well, this is 95.
Oh, okay.
I tell you, that was one of Spike's better movies. It's really good. I mean, think about the cast you had in that, right?
That's Pete Morelli. That's his name.
Pete Morelli. Thank you. Thank you. Pete Morelli. So Tony Brothers is our Pete Morelli in the NBA.
Right.
And he is a pain in our ass. And this is what Doc said. Now, Doc is, as you know, right, you want your coaches talking in the media to the league or the officials. You know, if Barrett Brooks is going to get away with holding each week, then Bill Belichick may say something, you know, hey, you keep an eye on that guy in the left side of the line there. They like to hold a lot. You know, like he may say something. So listen to Doc. Doc's talking to Tony Brothers right now.
We like men on Trey. We don't like him on them all game. Trey does a great job of drawing fouls. And so we got to be careful with that. You know, some he gets fouled, some Trey sells them pretty well. And so, you know, listen, if Ben's allowed to guard him, then yeah, I'm all for it. And then Ben has to do a good job on him as well.
If Ben's allowed to
guard him. Yes, that's crucial right there. If Ben's allowed to guard him. Wow. And that's what you mean. That's what you mean by how he used his wordage. You know, he said allowed to guard him, not if he's guarding him, but if he's allowed to.
Right.
Meaning, can he put his hands on him? No. And that's what Trey does. Trey is unique in that aspect. He's already a small guy. So he can, you know, it looks like, you know, he's getting hit harder than what he is because he's so small. So you're right, man. This is gonna dictate how they defend him. When you got your boy, Tony Brothers, the brother.
We locked up the wrong brother. And then the guy says, that's it. I'm trying to find who that. Do you remember who the old cop was?
Hold on.
Come on. It wasn't Isaiah Washington, was it?
I haven't seen that in so long, man.
On the Sports Map Radio Network.
No, it wasn't Isaiah Washington.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
Oh, man. All right, here's what we have. Fake news coming up this hour with Ron Culver. Rob Motti from the Associated Press. You know, Rob got bumped up to the national NFL person. Like, he is the guy overseeing everything national in the NFL. He's still here local to us in Philly, and he's got an eye, and he's covered the Eagles in the locker room forever. But he still has some time for us. So we figured, all right, we'll squeeze anytime we can in our schedule with Rob's busy schedule. That's going to be 12:40 Eastern. Fake news before that. And then tonight, we are back looking at the Philadelphia 76ers now. And again, we'll touch on the Fletcher Cox thing throughout. But just back looking at this game tonight, we talked about how necessary it was for Philadelphia to come out. I don't know, man. Like, there are so many factors here where I would just be stunned. Like, I would be double stunned now if they lost this game than I was when they lost the first game, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
And we have
because it's almost, it's not almost, it is a must win.
Yeah.
Just from a mental standpoint for the 76ers. And it's not just a win, it has to be a Styles point win. You know, a win in which, all right, we show you that we're the best team in the NBA, in the East. We're the better team. We should beat you. And it should be easy. Not to say they will, but they should beat them easy.
You know, I'm just looking at this here, right? Because the Sixers are now at a 6.5 point favorite. They were at 4. All right. 4. I think this opened up. I don't think it was 3.5. I think it was right at 4. And it's moved 2.5 points. But the bigger thing, I think, is just the value of the Sixers winning quarters, like the Sixers coming out right away. And that's where, you know, the betting element comes from it, but also just looking at how vital this thing is. The one factor, and look, I think this can play both ways, right? Like, we all look at it, oh my goodness, Tony Brothers is one of these referees. He's going to screw the Sixers over, and, you know, the Hawks are going to find a way to win or cover, what have you. It could also work the other way. Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks were on fire, and the Sixers couldn't do anything. So maybe Brothers is in there to cool the Hawks off and ensure that the Sixers get theirs, and ensure that maybe it's Trae Young or Bogey or Clint Capella that's in foul trouble early. Look, you get 2 fouls on Clint Capella in the first 6 minutes of the game. This basketball game, Barrett Brooks, is officially over.
And that could possibly be simply because Embiid is just so good at like even the Euro step and his approach to going to the basket, man. He's gonna want to be more of an opposing threat defensively. And I think the reason this line is going up so much is because, Embiid looked like he wasn't hurt. So that might be it. That might be it. And it was John, what's his name? John Turturro.
Yeah.
He's the one that said, "We locked up the wrong brother." Yeah, that was him.
He said that, but then there was the cop, the older seasoned veteran cop, who is just sitting there the entire time, taking all the coded, bigoted stuff that they're saying in the precinct. And finally, he slams his hand, he stands up and says, "That's it." And then he starts addressing him. He starts yelling at him. You don't remember that?
Lindo?
No. He's like Delroy Lindo is the main guy who is working with Mekhi Phifer. Like, he's the main boss and all of that. It's not Isaiah Washington. It's not Keith David. I think it's Thomas Jefferson Bird. I think his name is Thomas Jefferson Bird. He's no longer with us, it looks like. But he was Clockers. He was Errol Barnes. That sounds right.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember. No, I don't remember that.
No,
I remember the movie.
I had the wrong guy. It's not Thomas Jefferson Bird. I had the wrong guy. He was a different character in Clockers. Wow. We need somebody here to help me out with that, because I can't play the scene because I don't know. Music's good. Maybe I'll look that up. Maybe we'll just play the audio. Here's something too that happened. I don't know if you caught this last night, but this was on TNT about Chris Paul. Charles Barkley got caught, and it was like one of those what had happened was moments where he just couldn't get out of it, right? And I love Kenny Smith because Kenny has such a great relationship with Charles that he can publicly humiliate Charles Barkley on national television, and Chuck isn't really going to do anything. He's just going to kind of take it, all right? So just listen to this back and forth about Chris Paul.
I think that Booker's going to do his thing against Joker. Those are 2 MVPs on each team. I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to be the difference.
You don't think CP3 is the MVP of the team?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No.
You had an MVP of the league, and he can't even be MVP of his team.
Well, that's from leadership. But I'm talking about guys. If I'm talking about, you got to play. You can't just be no leader. You got to kick some ass.
I'm just checking.
But I do.
Can you wear to check him? I mean, how can you be MVP of the league and not MVP of your team?
Well, it's the best player. It's not always he's a leader. He's not the best player.
Hey, and welcome back.
I love Kenny.
Wow.
Let it go.
You're not going to let that go. No. We're going to go to break, but I'm going to make sure you squirm before we go to this break.
Yes, like you did with our buddy in that Seahawks squad. And you had to break up the Super Bowl right there at the end of it. You knew exactly what was happening. Man, he had Charles on skates. He had Charles like he was cutting him up on the court.
Right.
Back and forth.
The league and not MVP of your team.
Well, it's the best player.
He was back. He was like, he hit him with the skip to my Lou.
Oh, skip. You going way back now. Skip to Malou. Oh, man. And one.
Charles was on skates. He's just, oh. How could you beat the MVP of the league and not the MVP of your team? They remember what everything Charles says. It's amazing.
And you hear what what Shaq said? Oh yeah. What?
Hold on, we got to go back to Shaq.
You the team?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No.
You had an MVP of the league, and he can't even be MVP of his team.
Well, that's from leadership. But I'm talking about guys. If I'm talking about, you got to play. You can't just be no leader. You got to kick some ass.
I'm just checking.
But I do.
Can you wear to check him?
Way to check him. Way to check him.
They know. They probably, the producer was probably in his ear, in Kenny's ear. Like, he said CP3 was the MVP. Like,
that's exactly what happens. It happens all the time.
Is that it? Producer?
Oh, man, all the time.
Hey,
my producer hit me. He'll hit me. He's like, hey, well, didn't Seth just say this? And he'll do the same thing. Hey, well, didn't Barrett just say that? He do that all the time, man. My boy Mike, man.
That's good stuff. That's good producing right there.
Oh, no question, man.
Fostering all the back and forth, right?
He'll be like, didn't he just say? I'm like, and I'm gonna teach him. Yeah, bro. The funniest thing ever, man. It's like I'm sitting next to Ray, and we'll be talking about something, and the producer will be talking to Ray, and Ray is talking back to him, but we're live, and you know, and it has nothing to do with the conversation that the four of us are talking about.
Right.
But he's talking directly to Ray, and Ray is responding and telling him stuff while he's loud on air. And I'm looking at him like, what? What he said? Oh, I'm just talking to Mike. Mulhern just told me this. And we're live on the show, man. He's just talking about whatever he's talking about to him.
Just going.
Yeah. You try not to react to it, but it happens sometimes. Like, okay.
No, I get it, man. Look, I get it. I totally do. So I've noticed now that I've had a couple of verified accounts following me ever since I've become verified. One of those, and we should get him on to talk about this, right? That's all I'm thinking about. All right, let's get him on. T.O., but it wasn't T.O. himself.
Oh, okay.
It was 81 Vino at 81_Vino, which is his verified Twitter account for his wine line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think
somebody else running that then.
Do you know him?
Yeah, I do know him.
Know him. Like,
Yeah.
hey, come on, talk some wine. Let's get him on to talk some wine. Think about the visual element of it. He could stand in a kitchen and have multiple bottles of wine, and he could take a sip as he's describing one robust flavor, another that's got a little bitterness in it, mixed with some hint of chocolate. I don't know what the hell you have. All this stuff.
You serve it with popcorn.
So yes, exactly. Look, whatever you want to go with it. Popcorn, Cheez-Its. It can be fish, goldfish. They serve goldfish at the club.
Wine and cheese.
Yeah.
Why did you tell me how good the cheese was? Oh, you know where that comes from, do you?
What's that?
How did you tell me how good the cheese was? You don't remember Dave Chappelle? Man, that got me.
Oh, yeah.
Doodle. I'm the black sheep. I'm the black sheep.
Yes.
No, I love Dave Chappelle, bro.
It's a long time, man. We've gone back in time extensively on this program.
Oh, right.
We still need to figure out who that guy is in Clockers, man. I'm going to get that clip up here, too. Fake news is coming up. Is Harry going to be back, do you think?
No.
Yes or no? No odds, nothing like that. Just a simple yes or no question. Will Harry be here for fake news?
What would the odds be? What?
Well, he did say he's coming back, so I will put some stock in that. I'll say
instead of 30-1, I'll put it 10-1.
10-1 that he's back. That's not really. That's a pretty big underdog right there.
No, 30-1 is a pretty big underdog.
31 is gigantic. 31 is long shot.
Well, if he said he'll be back, that's why I'll say
10-1,
10 instead of 30.
And you take it. So you think he's going to be back?
No.
Look at that. He's back. We had odds on whether or not we were building odds on whether or not you would be back, but you jumped right in before we could even put it out there. We had to take it off the board.
It started off 30 to 1.
I had to preempt that before too many people lost their money.
Okay, fair enough. Like your odds move faster than the Sixers, who are now up to 6.5.
Are they really? Well, that's probably because you just put in another bet.
Well, yes, I moved lines, Harry. That's what I did with the Phoenix Mercury tonight, by the way.
You know what? Well, Harry, you know what's going on now, Harry. At this point, they're saying the show went down because you're not verified. According to what Shan said, you're not verified, so the show quality went down because you're not verified. That's just what it, and
well, yeah.
I don't think it was that
and what that should do is that should motivate Sander and Joe and everybody else at JAKIB Media even more to get me verified within a week.
Within a week. It has to be within a week.
Here's what we need to do. The two of us, Barrett and myself, need to start tweeting at verified. Let's get Mays verified. And look, let's start a campaign. We should start a campaign to get you verified, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I totally agree. And we get, Play Action Reel, Penguin AZ, Jeff Bruder, LSXers, the whole crew to just start harassing Jack.
It's all about visibility. We want people to be able to see our tweets. That's all. All right, you gonna hang for fake news because we got a break real quick.
No, I can hang.
All right, well, back in 3 across the board on the JAKIB Media YouTube page and Sports Map Radio. Wow, 3 minutes.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
In the Wildwoods, our free beaches are spacious and welcoming with plenty of room to spread out. Your seat will be waiting for you when you're ready to visit. The Wildwoods, creating cherished family memories for generations.
Attention women of South Jersey and the Delaware Valley. Sign up right now with Our Lady NRA instructor Nayara Andrzak, who will teach you gun safety as part of this 3-hour safety class, which is being held at Delaware Valley Sports Center in Philadelphia. For information, drop an email to info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. That's info@DelawareValleySportsCenter.com. Learn the fundamentals at Delaware Valley Sports Center. You can't miss.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out JAKIB Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the JAKIB Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following today and stand out amongst your friends by downloading the JAKIB Sports app on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on JAKIB.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
All right. Let's see if Harry's back. Oh.
But it's been so hot the last 2 days, bro.
This is The Middle on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
Yeah, and Harry Mays is back. Look, Harry, we got to sneak fake news in real quick. And at some point, you and I and Barrett need to talk about one of the worst beats that I experienced in the entire NBA season last night with Kyrie Irving 3-point attempps.
Oh, okay, because I was wondering if you were going to talk about that Boston Bruins Islanders under.
Yeah, no. I purposely left that out. Although here's what I would say: there's no better time than now to make up the money lost on that game than pounding the under on the next game, because both goaltenders are too good for that to be a consistent reality. That's just my 2 cents that I've lost.
Well, yeah.
And I lost last night. I lost my 2 cents.
The Islanders got way too many power play opportunities last night, and they cashed in on 3 out of the 4. So that's tough to beat.
All right. Ron has 3 stories. We want Harry to be a part of this before he has to go tee off with his white pants. He's got 3 stories. One of them is fake. It's on us to determine which one it is. Take it away, sir.
Well, before we get started on fake news, Harry, I have a question for you. Are you feeling a little bit like Tommy in Goodfellas?
No. Actually, this is the first time.
That's not fair.
This is the first time I've worn white pants since I was a kid. Like, I used to wear them in the 70s.
The fact that, two of you all are verified.
Are made
you're
men.
not invited
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah,
now
well,
you're
in that
some
case,
undisclosed location, wearing white pants, we assume.
yeah.
Not even on your computer at home. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. If I end up in a basement with two guys that I don't know very well, I know I'm getting whacked.
Fair enough. When you walk in, just look behind you real quick. There might be time to get out.
It's like when I got fired the first time they tried to fire me at the Fanatic.
Yes.
The first time?
The first
Well, they have to bring him back. He had such a high Q rating.
Well,
wow.
You went all Milton and just stayed employed.
No, Harry.
Collecting a paycheck.
Anyway, Harry is going to have a way out. He'll take it. Trust me. All right, what do you got today, Culver?
All right, we got three stories. Two are real, one is fake. Here we go. Number one, a Florida woman completely trashed an Outback Steakhouse.
Yes.
By smashing wine bottles and dishes while standing on the countertop shouting obscenities while completely naked.
This was the story I wanted to get to yesterday and preempt fake news with, but the Fletcher Cox story derailed us. So we couldn't get to the naked woman because of Cox.
Yes.
I know what I did there.
That was very well done. Only somebody that's verified can pull that off.
No, look at you. This is a team win. I keep telling everybody.
Well, obviously, I know that's true as well. I just want a picture. I want Ron to send me a picture of the woman.
I'll send you the video.
Okay.
Yeah, send it to me too, bro.
Look at that.
I gotta see that. What's going on there?
Where's the guy in the office who walks over and is like, yeah, forward that sex video to me too. Just like walks, doesn't say a word all day. He's on the phone making a sale. Gets up, forward that sex video to me too. Then he turns it up.
Hey, Eytan, obviously things haven't been the same since the boss lady got the knee replacement.
Yes.
Barrett needs to look at the video.
Oh, wow. I think you'll be
no sex in the champagne room.
Wow. Look, Barrett, this is all yours. You take it any way you want, man. All right. Now, I'll say this. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with this 53-year-old woman who trashed the Outback when you see her pic.
Hey, that's right in my wheelhouse, man.
Yeah. No, that's Harry's demo.
Yeah.
All right. Story one's real. What's story two?
Story number two. After hearing this story, 1/3 of the middle, half of the verified middle, will be moving to Washington State tomorrow now that he knows they are offering weed as an incentive to get vaccinated.
I'm already vaccinated.
You'll go and get another one.
No, I don't think you can do that.
Free? Oh, okay.
Look,
your vaccine.
I hate to break it to people out there, but if somebody and this is your own choice, this is your own decision. There's nothing weighted behind it. That's fine. You can make your own decision. If somebody has not been vaccinated yet, giving them a free burger at Arby's or a dime bag at the local dispensary is not going to change their mind. What are we doing here?
I don't know. I felt like somebody needed to say something there.
Well, I was waiting for somebody to say anything or you to just move on.
Going.
Go ahead.
All right, finally, story number three. To celebrate Saban getting his extension, one Alabama fan went as far as to burn the logo into his roof for God to see. He ended up burning a huge hole in his roof, but luckily not his house.
Well, it's Alabama, so you can easily accept this is true, right?
Yeah. But I just think that I'm going to say.
Well, today you guys have made it easy. You know it's a 50-50 shot.
Right. All right. Harry's back. I think he missed. Did you miss that third story?
I missed the second one too. The Wi-Fi here. I got to apologize. The
No,
Wi-Fi
you
at my
don't
club
apologize.
sucks.
You're on a golf outing, man. You should go ahead, play golf. All right.
All right,
So
here we go again. Story number two.
and it's one of these two because story one is
Right,
true.
Right.
Harry, I hate to do it to you. After hearing this story, 1/3 of the middle, half of the verified middle will be moving to Washington State tomorrow now that he knows they are offering weed as an incentive to get vaccinated.
Okay.
And
All right.
finally, story number three. To celebrate Saban getting his extension, one Alabama fan went as far as to burn the logo into his roof for God to see. ends up burning a huge hole in his roof, but luckily not his house.
Wow, that sounds very believable.
Third one, I think, is the believable one simply because it's Alabama.
Yeah. Now, I could see the state of Washington or any of those other states out there doing the same type of incentive too. So that seems very real. But it might be that he's crossed us up with the different state, and it's maybe another state that's doing it. So I'll go story 2 is fake.
I'll go story 2 is fake also.
I'm going to say story 3 because it's so obvious.
And Eytan wants to go to Washington to get vaccinated again.
Right.
Eytan, you're in luck. Go ahead and get to Washington. That story is true.
There you
Story
go.
number 3 is the fake one today.
There you go. Look, I told you, I'm just riding my Anastasia Pauli-Luchuk victory today.
A story that missed the cut that I wanted to put in there, but I didn't know if you guys had already seen it because it is a pretty big story. I was going to bring up the fact that Kevin Durant brought a side chick or a backup chick, if you will, on his date with adult film star Lana Rhoades. Did you guys see that?
Wow.
No.
Well, Lana might have requested that.
No,
right.
He was the one spilling the beans that when she went on a date with Kevin Durant, he brought a backup chick with him.
Wow.
Things didn't go well. He wouldn't be left alone. I don't know.
Well, no, he wanted 3. He wanted the
Right.
the
She's up for whatever the porn star's up for.
Right.
Hence, she's the side chick.
Right. You're giving her options.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You're not bringing somebody who has standards to that date.
Right.
Is that a fair assessment here?
Well, I mean, it all depends. Some people might say that is standards. To each his own, Eytan.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me though, because
correct.
I mean, if you're going with the chick like that, that means that everything is all good, especially when you're gonna be sporting her out in public.
That's what
are
I'm
you
saying.
thinking about?
It's pretty much a sure thing. I think you're just bringing along another
Absolutely.
dessert for her.
It's a second back. Look, you go to the movies, whatever we used to do that, right? And you go to the counter and you get a box of Reese's and you get an extra. You get a backup box of Reese's. You're still going to eat Reese's, but you want to make sure that you have a backup to go to when the first box is done, or you just put them all in one box and you eat it. You eat that box.
I'm about to go get a backup bourbon.
Necessary. Hey, real quick before you get out of here, did you hear this Charles Barkley clip last night? Kenny Smith put Charles Barkley on skates. It was like a killer crossover when Allen Iverson crossed over Michael Jordan. Do you remember that historic epic moment in Iverson's career?
Well, I remember that, but I did not hear what Charles said.
And listen, as Barrett aptly caught, listen to Shaq. We may need to play Shaq back, but Shaq also has a nice little subtle shot. This is all about the Suns last night.
I think that Booker's going to do his thing against Joker. Those are 2 MVPs on each team. I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to be the difference.
You don't think CP3 is the MVP of the team?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No.
You had an MVP of the league, and he can't even be MVP of his team.
Well, that's from leadership, but I'm talking about guys. If I'm talking about you got to play. You can't just be no leader. You got to kick some ass.
I'm just checking.
But I do. I can check them.
I mean, how can you be MVP of the league and not MVP of your team?
Well, but it's the best player. It's not always. He's a leader. He's not the best player.
Hey, and welcome back.
Right on the break, too. He put the pressure on him.
That was great work by him.
He was on skates.
Where
more examples of why that's the best post game show in the business.
Honestly, it's the only one. Do you watch anything else? Do either one of you watch anything else?
I watch Barrett. I watch Barrett on.
My show's pretty damn good.
Well, that's what I was saying. Football is different. Like, I'm just talking about non-football. Football, we'll watch the pre-game show just because it's before football.
Football is king. Football is king.
Yeah. But where else? That's all. All right, brother. Now you are free to go. or you could hang with Rob Motti. And look at that background. You know, this is what when you get promoted to basically being the king of the NFL for the Associated Press. Look at the background. I mean, Rob before, like pre-promotion, Rob is on some balcony somewhere in the middle of Florida. Post-promotion, Rob has this really professional background with all of the awards and famous pictures, and I'm sure of his kids as well. Like, you see the difference here?
That's tremendous. Congratulations, Rob.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats, bro.
Appreciate it. I'm not golfing like Harry is.
Right.
He's out there hitting them.
Here we go. Hold on.
All right, I got to hop.
See ya. That's Harry Mays. He's out of here. Harry's on a golf course at an event, Rob Motti, who's joining us now from the Associated Press. And as mentioned earlier, Barrett, Rob is now in charge of everything with the National Football League for the Associated Press. Nothing goes out NFL related without Rob saying so. All right.
Wow.
We've been doing all of these old movie references. I'll give you King of New York. He's now king of the NFL. Okay. Nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No dope deals, no blackjack, no nothing. You guys go back while everybody's stomped on the street. He's Christopher Walken now in the NFL.
Bro,
Rob Motti, what's happening?
That was amazing, man. That was amazing. But yeah, Rob, man, congratulations, bro.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I didn't know Eytan had such a great Christopher Walken impression.
Right, right. I love it.
That's right on, bro. That's great, dude.
I got to get warmed up, all right? You know, a nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in. You guys got fat while everybody starved on the streets. It's my turn. If any of you...
I've known you 15 years, Eytan, 16, 20 years. I don't even know how long it's been. I didn't know you could do that, man. You're good.
The walking. It's every now and again, man. You know, it's the
I
walk.
like it. I dig. I like it.
Now, there's a pretty big day today on the show as I have joined the two of you now when it comes to where we are on Twitter fandom. So I'm
on a blue check mark?
Yeah. I didn't want to say it.
Congrats, man.
I don't want to rub it in.
Man. That's
I
nice.
feel
I
bad
like
for
that.
Harry because he deserves it.
Wait, he don't have one yet?
No. And all I told him is just go, like Philly Voice will give him 3 weeks of a column and just write 3 separate columns for 3 weeks, right? One column each week. Have Matt Mullen or Evan Macy at Philly Voice just put a quick little bio up there that has his Twitter account. Let him apply for verification. And once he gets that check, they can scrub it from the website like it never existed. That's how I got in, was my column.
Is that I never knew what rhyme or reason. Like, I don't know how they go about it. Like, my wife had one before I did 9 years ago.
Well, she was, right?
Well, yeah, she was on TV. Yeah, she was
yeah.
doing TV, and like she gets it before me, and I'm like, well, hey, what's going on here? And then it took me like a month or so later, and I finally got one. But yeah, it's been a while. But congrats, bro. You deserve it, Eytan.
I'm just happy that I can be part of the club here. And the funny thing is now I see this tab here where I can just go to verified and only see mentions and interactions from verified people. Now, if that isn't full-on elitist, I don't know what is. So my promise to the people is that will never be me.
Bro. You can't go in and just be letting all the secrets out. You gotta slow down a little bit.
Rob, you do know me long enough to verify what, no pun intended, what Barrett's saying, which is I don't know how to act. So,
Eytan, I still expect you to interact with the egg mark, the avatars and the guys with the trolls with the 000
I'm afraid I'm going to lose my check mark now.
Don't let up, bro. Don't let up.
Let's start here with an obvious one. Okay, you wake up or wherever you are throughout the day, and you see a colleague of yours who has been covering this team for a long time, so there's no real reason to go down that road unless you would like to, but I'm just giving at least the report some benefit of the doubt that it wasn't just created out of thin air. But we also have seen something which seems to be, at least to me, Rob, similar to what happened and what played out with Carson Wentz, who is no longer here, which is the rise of an enabled, and I'm not blaming the player, but the rise of an enabled diva, if you will, unable to either check or control on purpose or by accident, and then starting the process of look how bad or look at a problem this guy is dealing with on your way to distancing yourself from that player. It just seemed eerily similar.
It did. And what the Carson Wentz saga, because that's really what it was, taught me is to really take a look at everything and examine it, where it's coming from, what's being released, what's been put out there. A lot of, in the case of Fletcher Cox's story, I see a lot of disgruntled former employees who want to speak out, and sometimes guys who are disgruntled want to justify why they're no longer where they are, why they're no longer in that position. So it's hard, man. It's hard to anymore read stuff, understand it, and you got to figure out where's it coming from. Why is it being put out right now? And as you know, as you alluded to, that there was a lot of stuff with Carson that kind of predated the distancing and on his way out the door. And I know where a lot of that came from, right? I know where a lot of that stuff came from. I know where, and a lot of that was misleading information. This is different. This is different. And I think when you look at Fletcher Cox being given somewhat preferential treatment from Howie Roseman, is it wrong to treat a superstar of his stature that way? Is it wrong to have potentially a Hall of Fame player, one of the best in franchise history, and run things by him? I think he should have a little bit of weight in that clubhouse, and he should have a little bit of weight in that locker room and with the team, and his opinion should be valued. So it really comes down to who's saying what and why are they saying it.
I believe that to be the case, but I don't get why you go out there and start bashing somebody's work ethic, or by saying, all right, this guy's still in the organization, but you're going to say he isn't getting his body into optimal shape, or putting it, putting in the most solid terms. That why aren't you getting ripped up like your counterpart with the Rams? Why aren't you looking like him? Why aren't you taking your game to the next level by getting in shape like an Aaron Donald? What's going on with that? Why do that and then turn back around and say, all right, he's helping with decisions? To me, that doesn't make sense. If you're going to push a narrative out there, push a positive narrative out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I think though that information's coming from former, and they're not. Do you believe it, Barrett, to be from within the Eagles or somebody who's no longer there? I think it's somebody who's no longer there who's saying that.
I think that this Eagles organization is not like a lot of organizations I've played with, because they press narratives out there on players that should be in-house. And sometimes you need to keep it to yourself. That would never happen in a place like the Steelers. It would never happen, in other places that I've been. Like, it wouldn't happen in Green Bay. You wouldn't push out anything that you want anybody else. They would put a black eye not on just a guy that's still on the team, but a guy that that's a major part of the success you've had as an organization.
Yeah, and you're right. I don't think that could be discounted, because we've seen it with Carson Wentz, and when we know with Carson it was from within the organization being pushed out. We can't automatically. We can't automatically discount and say what's coming out about Fletcher is it from within the organization. So you do have a good point, and what you're saying there about the reputation across the league, it's known. It really is. The more guys I talk to, the more players who say these things about this organization, and while it's not preventing free agents from signing here, if they have, if you're going to give them the money, they're going to go where the money is, because guys know that their career is short-lived, right? But if the option is there for a player to come here or go somewhere else, and the money is similar, or all things are equal, more than likely they're going to choose somewhere else because of what has come out as a toxic culture within the organization. And also, some players just don't want to be in a situation where they're so intensely scrutinized, like we do with, like the media here does with any athlete in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. It's not just the organization, but you're judged by not just media, but fans fans feel as though they have a vested interest in the way you're playing.
Well, look at Andre Dillard, right? Andre Dillard comes out last week, and to his credit, Andre was very well spoken, very well thought out answers as he talked about and explained why he's no longer on social media. And I had this question on my show over the weekend. Like, if you were a professional athlete in today's environment, would you even be on social media? Do you even need that platform? Because there is so much negativity. And Andre didn't go down that road. Instead, he chose to say it's a distraction to me because I find myself being on there and just a half hour goes by, hour goes by, and I'm not producing anything. I'm not doing anything productive. I'm just wasting my time on social media. And he didn't dare say, well, I'm also getting bashed left and right by fans, but it happens, and it happens. Then I talked to a player yesterday from the LA Chargers, and he's a second-year player. He was an undrafted free agent, and he's out there. He's engaging on social media. He doesn't get that. He doesn't get any kind of negative pushback. It's just a different climate. It's a different fan base. So it's completely different for players across the league, and all that has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, so I'm just looking now moving forward, because I think what the team does, and this is kind of like a big picture takeaway, where I think what happens is, and I'm trying to think this through as I'm saying it, so pardon me, I don't mean to just be all staccato with this, but I think what happens is you have so much turnover where there aren't many older guys still left that can tell younger guys, hey, young fella, you better hurry up and make your money in this team because they are going to run your ass out of here. Now, we've always had that with the fan perception and stuff, but when you have it as an actual team and an organization, I think that's where the Eagles kind of cut corners and really get away with a lot of this, is because Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith and Andre Dillard to Jordan Mailata, they haven't experienced it, and they haven't seen their boy gone through it like somebody who may not be here anymore, like a Malcolm Jenkins, for example. So I think that always happens with this Eagles team, where it's not just a purge of one player, but now we'll see maybe 2 or 3 older guys no longer here, and this whole mentality resets until you get caught again having to move on from the next guy.
Yeah, and what you have is a team that is in transition, right? This is a team that they hate the word rebuilding, but let's be honest, you're a rebuilding football team. You're not expected to win anything this year. You're not going to be the only way that the Eagles could be in contention is if the NFC East is as bad as it was last year. And there's always that possibility, but I'll make a bold prediction that the team that wins the division this year will actually have a winning record in 2021, which is different than 20. And what's that saying?
Absolutely, yes.
You're gonna have a 9-8 team. That's about the only certainty that I have, is that I think they're gonna have a winning record, whoever wins the division. But I don't see 2 teams in this division making the playoffs. So if you're a rebuilding team and you fully committed to the rebuild, no matter what you say, retool, rebuild, whatever terminology they want to throw out there, veteran players are going to be expendable, and maybe this is the beginning of the end for Fletcher Cox in Philadelphia. We know Brandon Graham's on the last year of his deal. That's another guy, and they do have to get younger, but there's a way to do it without also smearing guys, and that it just doesn't look good. It doesn't sit well with other players when you see guys on their way out get thrown under the bus. And I think that's something that there's a lot of talking that comes out from within the Philadelphia Eagles organization, whether it's current, former, past, whoever it is. There's a lot of people with loose lips who are willing to go off the record and say things that are very inflammatory about players. And that is a culture that needs to stop, and that's at the top. But when you see people in the front office doing it, that allows an assistant coach or somebody else feels, okay, I can do the same thing. That needs to stop at the top. And that's a problem that this organization has.
All right, we got to take a quick one on the network. We're still live here across the board of the JAKIB Media YouTube page. Rob Motti joining us from the Associated Press. Again, at Rob Motti, 2 A's, 2 D's, then the I at the end. We're back in 3 on Sports Map Radio. Man, it's crazy, though, how you lay that out there where that level of enabling that is allowed in this organization. And I'm just trying to think about this moving forward, where there's just so much chaos. And I wonder if it's one of two things, where, like you said, it's a child who sees their parent do it, right? Remember the old commercial, "Where'd you get this? I learned it from watching you," right? The old time where the dad caught the kid smoking weed and it was like this big thing. And I wonder if it's that, or if it's a total lack of respect, meaning like they just don't fear repercussions from Howie or Jeff Lurie, because there's just this loose culture of people can say whatever the hell they want.
It's a possibility that there's no, but I think there are repercussions though, Eytan. I think we've seen people who've been let go in the organization, people who they've moved on from. I really think this is something that needs to be, organization has to set it across the board. Like the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick doesn't say anything in news conferences, right? And nothing comes out of Patriot way, right? Nobody says anything about anybody. You can't get any information, and it'd be better off for this team and this organization to have that culture where it's hard to get information. It'll make our jobs difficult in the media and as reporters and as journalists to try and dig deeper. But if they start that at the top and say, hey, nobody talks to anybody, we keep everything in-house. We handle our business amongst each other, and we don't leak any information. There's too many leaks, man, and too many leaks lead to a flood.
You're absolutely right, man. And that's, I've yet to see in a successful organization with that type of mindset. It's like the steal away. You're not getting anything out of that organization. Belichick. You look at Tampa Bay the same way. They just, successful organization police their own house. They keep things in house. You cannot run an organization with all this cattiness. A catty organization is not going to win. It's just not going to do it. You're not going to be able to do it because you can't trust anybody. And trust is the major issue for most players and most organizations. If I can't trust you, how am I going to battle with you? How am I going to give my all for an organization that's going to backstab me and talk about me the very next day? That's just not how you build an organization. That's not how organizations win. And that's something that the Eagles don't stop it now. They won't even if the money's right, some players just won't come.
Right.
Just won't come.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I don't know how it gets to this point where, there's so much other than there's got to be a commitment high up in the organization. I think it's incumbent upon Jeffrey Lurie. He's the owner, right? He's out front. You gotta set everybody straight. Tell everybody, hey, we keep everything in house. We don't reveal. We don't break it down. We don't tell people. We don't talk, because when you look at some of these stories when they come out, the specifics, right? Some of the specifics are such that you can, even when you guys are speaking off the record, it's an anonymous source, but some of the information is so specific that the people within who are involved, they know who it is. You could go back and say, well, who was privy to that information? Who was in the room when that happened? How did that go down? Like, I've been given information that I don't report on because only 2 people were in the room, or only 3 people were in the room. And then they tell you, like, if you say anything, the 3 of us were there, so he's going to know that I told you, or he's going to know, and it's easy to narrow it down. Right. But some of this stuff's getting out there, so they know where it's coming from.
This is madness. Do you have a couple of minutes to hang with us? Because there's another topic in the NFL, and now you, the man who runs everything in the National Football League, and rightfully so. I mean, look, we talk about jokingly my day today getting the blue check mark. This is way more about you and this gigantic promotion that you have, again, rightfully so, that you've earned across everything with the Associated Press. But we have to talk about what's going on in Green Bay with you and get some insight about that. We only have a minute left here on the show before overtime, so Rob Maaddi is going to hang with us. Let's say we've got about 25 seconds, so real quick, any thoughts on Drew Smiley getting pounded by the Phillies tonight?
Well, I'll say this. The Phillies are 1 game over 500 with their 4th and 5th starter, and they're 3 games under 500 when it's Nola, Eflin, or Zach Wheeler pitching. So I would take the Braves 2 out of 3 in this series.
That is a stat right there. My goodness. What would you? They're 3-0.
Under 3 games under 500 with
under.
their top 3 starters. Yeah,
unbelievable. And how many over?
1 game over with the 4th and 5th guy.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a stat for you. Take that to betting lines.
That's a stat Barrett Brooks is going to be bragging about tonight on Nemesis Sports Philly. All right, we're back at 30. It's the middle. Overtime next.
Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about Eagles! Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.
All right, overtime here. Rob Motti in the house. Let's just start. What's going on? Every week, it seems like there's something new, and then it always gets turned back to, don't overreact to it. When do you think we can start overreacting to what's happening with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay?
I'm writing on that today. So keeping me busy as I still continue in my dual role now, and I got the Phillies game tonight, but that's gonna I won't be doing that much longer. But yeah, I'm working on that Aaron Rodgers.
Out.
Yeah.
Be honest.
What's that?
This is like you are on Wednesday on a week where you're out Friday for an extended vacation. That's what the Phillies are to you. You're mentally to the Phillies. Come on.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I just got breaking news too. I just got nothing. It relates to you know what I'm doing in Florida and a house and everything.
Yes.
So
yes.
I just
news.
Yeah. I just got great life news. Like we're 45 days out. It's finally almost there, man. It's almost there. That house is almost ready to go, Barrett. So you guys got a place to come down and fish and
go.
Hang out on the beach and all that stuff. But Aaron Rodgers, dude, he's sitting out. Obviously, he's not there today. How crazy is this? Aaron Rodgers isn't at training camp today. Tom Brady goes to a full practice after winning a Super Bowl, having what he said was very serious a knee injury, knee surgery, and he's out there. He's still going strong today. Aaron Rodgers isn't. I think this is going to be a really difficult situation for the Green Bay Packers. You know what was interesting to me is Mark Murphy goes on their website, and he writes a column for the website monthly and tries to pit it as the fans are divided. And you saw that over the weekend. The fans are divided on this Aaron Rodgers issue, and that was a case where the team president is kind of already laying the groundwork for a divorce. Now, can you really be a Packers fan? And you mean to tell me Packers fans are okay with moving on from Aaron Rodgers? How could they be divided? I can't see any fan base that would have Aaron Rodgers on their team and they're divided. Half the fans are on the team side. Half the fans want Aaron Rodgers to be gone. That blows my mind. And that to me is just a little bit of late preparing the groundwork because, hey, you know what? He doesn't want to play here. And we've had enough feedback now from our fan base and they're okay with it. I don't know what the truth meter says on that one. I can't. If that's what the Packers fans really feel, then they don't deserve Aaron Rodgers to be a Green Bay Packer. And this is, to me, headed for a very ugly, messy divorce.
I mean, wow. I don't understand that. I can't see that Packers organization who are vested in the. I mean, they own the team themselves. You saying that their actual fan base voted and they're half and half? I can't see that happening, man.
No, I mean, and that's if you're going to go by what he said, the feedback that he's been getting and the letters that he's receiving and the emails. First of all, I don't know who's sitting there. I don't know what's there to do in Green Bay other than sit there and write a letter to the team president, maybe whatever it is. But I'm sure they're expressing their opinion via email, via whatever it is. They're getting their opinion across. but it just seems strange to me that the Packers fan base would not be 100. Like if you did a poll on Green Bay radio station, it's got to be 100%. You want Aaron Rodgers back on your team. And now we've seen, obviously, Matt LaFleur say that he expects him to be back and he wants him to be back and they don't want to trade him. But I don't know what was to be gained by putting out the information that you're receiving input from the fans and they're divided on this situation. It just seems really strange to me. The problem is, who can trade for Aaron Rodgers right now at this point, right? Because teams have gone out there, they've drafted their quarterbacks, they've moved up in the draft to get their guy, they've mortgaged their futures to get who they want now, whether it's the Bears and Justin Fields or whether it's the Jets and Zach Wilson, whatever it may be. So, yeah, obviously there are still some teams who would certainly be willing and would want a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt, and can win you a Super Bowl. But I think it's limited at this point. And that to me is what really is going to make this a very, very weird, odd, difficult situation. You don't see things like this drag out in the NFL. Here we are in June. You know, these are usually resolved by now. And here we are first week of June, and we don't know. We don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Of course, Denver, can they get in the mix? They can use a guy like Aaron Rodgers. San Fran drafted their quarterback, so I thought he'd be in Pittsburgh with Ben Roethlisberger next year, but that's next year. That's not this year. They still got Big Ben this year, so that's why you'll constantly hear from the national guys. Oh, the Eagles are always in the mix for Aaron Rodgers because they haven't committed to Jalen Hurts. I don't see that happening either.
No, me neither, man. You know, I mean, at the most, you know, a team that really needs him right now, probably the Saints, but they've invested too much money in two guys instead of just having one guy.
They can't afford them financially. That's
right, exactly.
But hold on, we've seen rumors, right? Like we've seen a team or two linked to this. Is that just fodder? Is there really no team, or could you make a deal? Like if you're Houston, and I know there needs to be a completely different situation fixed with Deshaun Watson. Seattle, I can't see them making that type of lateral move because Russell Wilson, they've appeased now, and Russ has always said, I want more input. He's got the input. Could you trade a guy that you know is good, but you're not sold on is going to be Hall of Fame level in order to bring back Aaron Rodgers while also giving up some things? You know what I mean? I don't know who fits that bill, but maybe there's a guy that's just about to hit the end of his rookie deal that can play. I mean, if you're Buffalo, would you trade Josh Allen knowing what you could get for Aaron Rodgers? Rob Monty's shaking his head no.
Heck no, you can't trade Josh Allen. I mean, this guy was an MVP candidate last year. He's young, he's upcoming, and would you do it for Aaron Rodgers at this point? Like the money, the finances of this is what's so astronomical. How can somebody make this work within their salary cap situation? It's not a matter of do you want Aaron Rodgers on your team. All things being equal, I would think just about every team in the NFL, except maybe Seattle with Russell Wilson. I would even say Tampa, knowing that Tom Brady's 44 and are going to be 44 and Aaron Rodgers is 38. If you were going to be able to have one guy for a few more years, you would go that route. But it's the money of it, and that's why this is going to be. Man, I'm watching this closely, and it's very interesting to see how this is going to play out. I just thought it was really odd that the team president goes out there and makes it known that, hey, half the fan base is really is on our side, and half the fan base is with Aaron Rodgers on this, dude. What are those fans? What are they thinking? Come on now, that can't be real.
That can't be right, man. That can't be right, man. There's no way. I mean, you're talking about one of the most prolific quarterbacks right now to play in this era.
I'm sorry, Barrett. I apologize.
Go ahead, go ahead, man. I mean,
I thought you were done. That's my fault. I was done. Yeah. Here's the only thing I can think of, and this is not me saying they are right. This is not me agreeing with them. But if you're a fan that's over 40, you've seen this thing play out where Brett Favre left and you were fine. And if you're a fan over 60, you may have seen it play out 3 times with or what should be the third time with Bart Starr before all. I don't know how many people are still left on the planet that watch Bart Starr play, but
none of us.
That's what I'm saying. So here's the scenario, Rob, right? I'm 45 years old. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. my dad or mom or aunt, whoever, because it's Green Bay Packers all day, has told me throughout all this, look, I remember when it was Bart Starr. I saw Bart. They were fine with Brett Favre. And you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I remember when Brett Favre, the same thing. I can move on from Aaron. That's the only thing I can think of. And I don't even like it as I said it.
They trust in Love, huh? They're looking at Jordan Love and going, he's going to be the next Aaron Rodgers. Don't forget, between Bart Starr and Brett Favre, there was Lynn Dickey. There was the Magic Man. Remember what was it, Mikowski?
Mikowski, yeah.
Mikowski, right? There were a lot of lean years back then, way between Bart Starr and Aaron Rodgers. So I that's one way to rationalize it, Eytan, is that they look at it like, all right, well, we drafted in the first round last year our quarterback of the future in Jordan Love, and if Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be here, I wonder if there's some of that. Oh, if he doesn't want to be here, then we don't want him. You hear that all the time in Philly when a player wants to be gone. You saw that with Carson. You see that with other guys. Hey, if you don't want to be here, don't let the door hit you on the way out, right?
Right.
Maybe there's some fans in Green Bay that think that way, but it certainly to me won't be a 50-50 split. It might be like an 80-20. I think he's stretching it a little bit there.
Right. Controlling the narrative.
We appreciate you.
Teams are great at that, man. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, bro.
That's how it is. All right, Rob, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody else. We're going to wind down here. And this is it. We'll see you all tomorrow for Barrett Brooks, Harry Mays, Rob Body, Matt Chernoff in Atlanta, Xander Kraus, and everybody else from the JAKIB Media YouTube page, the Fritz and Bean Cooley Law Studios here in Philadelphia, and Pure Bull. We'll see you tomorrow.
Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about EAGLES! Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.